Hey y'all, this is Mike with Raider Dog Ranch. Today we're in the kitchen working on a long overdue project, and that is putting hardware on my cabinets. We've been here for several years and I have not put hardware on the cabinets in the kitchen, and they just look really bland and boring. These are the Amazon Basics. They're 7.38 inch with 5-inch hole centers. These are the flat blacks. These all come in 10 packs on the ones that I bought. You can buy different quantities, but these are sold in 10 packs, so I just bought the multiples that I needed, 4 packs. I'll have a couple extra, but that's okay. The handles do come with 2 sets of screws for each handle, so there's more than enough screws. You can put in the longer or the shorter depending on the thickness of your cabinets. So this is a very easy project to do, but also very intimidating, especially for someone like me who's a little bit on the OCD side of things, and I can't stand the idea of things not lining up properly. So instead of making a jig, I also bought this cabinet hardware mount template. So these are really cheap. I'll have a link in the description for these and for the cabinet pulls, but these will basically give you the alignment that you need and the hole placements. And you'll need to look at the details for each one that you get for your cabinets, but you'll need to know the measurements on your center lines on your pulls. So these are 7-inch, but they're 5-inch on centers where the holes go. This one does, I think, 3.5, 4 point something, and 5-inch. So 5 inches is the farthest out. You can use this one. You can also use this one. It's designed for upright cabinets, although I've found these holes don't line up very well for where I want the cabinet. We'll talk about that in a second. So you get both of these templates and you get a drill bit. This is a center point drill bit that makes it really easy to stay on the mark that you make. However, I'll tell you and I've seen this from other reviews too, this bit is crooked. If you put this in the drill, you can see it wobble just a bit. And so I just used one that I already had. That's a 3/16 drill bit. So what I'm doing is placing this on the cabinet. I'm moving it up until the bottom aligns with the bottom of the cabinet here. So that gives me a nice little stopping point on all of them. And I'm marking this hole here and this hole here on the bottom. Again, 5-inch centers. Marking those with a pencil. Do not try to drill through this with it being plastic. You will ruin it the first time. So mark them, then take it down and you'll get a mark. I think I've already marked these. We're gonna get really close. I think this right here is a mark. Yeah, you can barely see them on this wood grain. If you've got white cabinets, this is gonna be a lot easier. There's another mark there. All right, and so I've got a couple of them that I've already done. This is how they look when they're installed. So you can see how much that adds to the look of the kitchen from this. I've always said this is sort of the apartment look, to this and this, which gives it a nice look. Decided to go with the black. I think it accents the black and stainless pretty well, even though most of our furniture knobs and hardware are like brushed nickel or whatever that is. And to keep the dust down, I'm using my Milwaukee vacuum. Actually, I haven't done a review on this. This is pretty new. I need to do a review on that. That's a pretty handy little thing to have, you know, way better than lugging around a shop vac. So as I'm drilling the holes with one hand, I'm vacuuming with the other. That way the wife doesn't have to yell at me for not cleaning up all of the wood chips that are gonna get on the counters and the floors. If there's something I want to point out, again, kind of for the OCD type people, these cabinets can be lined up perfectly, or the handles, the holes in the handles can be lined up perfectly, but they still look like they're off. I don't know if you can tell here, but they're off. But they are off because the cabinet itself is off. If I push this up to be even, then the cabinets are even. So that's, I guess that's kind of an obvious thing, but if you're, again, if you're OCD and you want everything to be perfect, then your cabinets are gonna have to be lined up perfect too. And you might not have ever noticed that if you didn't have handles that are long and straight like this, because it's gonna stand out a little bit. You'll have to adjust the alignment of your cabinets. I've looked at the adjustments to level this up, and I'm no expert. It looks, I don't think any of these adjustments are gonna help any. This is gonna move it in and out. This is just gonna move it that way. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna loosen these screws on the door and just push the whole door up a little bit. It only needs to move a touch. I think I've got maybe a 1/16 of an inch or more for movement. So that's how I'm gonna try to adjust for that issue. I can't record this. I've only got, you know, I'm a videographer and a influencer, so I'm doing both. It did make a difference. You can see that. Looks like it's lining up really close now just by loosening those hinges, sliding the door up just a bit. I didn't need much space here. If I needed more, I would have had to figure out some other adjustment. Okay, we've got all of the pulls on the doors. Now we need to do the pulls on the drawers. And that's a little more complicated because when I put the template on, you have to know where the center of the drawer is. And for my application, it's probably hard to tell here, but these don't really line up in the center of the drawer. So I flip it over and it's still not perfect, but this third line gets a lot closer to the middle line than if I do it upright. So be creative if it doesn't work for you. So what I've done is drawn a mark right here with a pencil. It's very hard to see, so I would line it up like this. Like that. I would draw my holes, which I've already done. Have a hole, sorry for the glare. There's a hole there, or not a hole, circle. Circle and circle. And then just to be sure, because I really don't want to mess up the drawers where you're going to notice if they're wrong, I measure from each side, make sure that I'm equal distance from here, from here, from there, from there. So, you know, it's a good idea to take a little bit of extra time, make sure it's set up properly, and then you don't regret anything that you make mistakes on. You know what the pros say, measure twice, cut once. There are the holes drilled. Everything's measured out well. All right, here is the finished result. Looking much better. Definitely recommend that you do this if you haven't done it already. It's a very inexpensive way to give a facelift to your kitchen. These long straight bars are pretty common right now, but I'm super happy with the result. I wish I would have done this a long time ago. So if you've watched to the end here, thanks for watching. As always, thanks for supporting the channel. If you enjoyed it, hit the like button, hit the subscribe, hit the notification, and thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.